As we read chapter 6, I think there are a couple of ideas that are really worth exploring here. The first one's something similar to what we know as the law of attraction. Swedenborg writes, "Like are drawn spontaneously, as it were, to their like. For with their like they are as if with their own, and at home. But with others they are as if with strangers and abroad." We say, birds of a feather flock together. We recognise an affinity with one another, and it's an experience we've all had. He writes in paragraph 46, "All who are in like good, even though they have never seen one another before, recognise one another just as men in the world do their kinsmen, relatives and friends." And he continues, "It's been granted to me to see this sometimes when I've been in the Spirit. Some of these I saw seemed as though known to me from childhood, but others as if not known at all." The second idea is of knowing and of being known. He writes, "An angel who excels in wisdom instantly sees the quality of another from his face. In heaven, no one can conceal his interiors by his expression, or feign, or in any way deceive and mislead by craft or hypocrisy." And this takes place by means of what Swedenborg calls spheres. All communicate by an extension of the sphere which goes forth from the life of each. This sphere of the life is the sphere of the affections of love and faith. This sphere extends itself far and wide into the societies around, extending further and wider in proportion as the affections are more interior and more perfect. It's reminiscent to me of the idea we find in the New Age of auras. And it's by means of this sphere that we both come to know others and come to be known. So it's a two-way street of a kind. It's anticipated by Jesus in the Gospels when he wrote this, "Whatever you have spoken in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have spoken in the ear in the inner rooms will be proclaimed on the housetops." And we see it also in the Christian teacher, the Apostle Paul, when he writes this, "For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known." Looking at the books that Swedenborg wrote, I thought today we'd look at Divine Providence. It was published in 1764, hot on the heels of another of his books, Divine Love and Wisdom, with which Divine Providence is paired. It happens to be one of my favourites. In it, he talks about ideas like, why does God let bad things happen? And how the Lord uses those bad things that happen to us for our own long-term benefit. And he also explores the principles of freedom. Talking about influences, I thought we'd think about psychology today. The big name is Carl Jung, who wrote, "I admire Swedenborg as a great scientist and a great mystic at the same time." And you can trace very many of Jung's ideas back to Swedenborg's work. But you also have people like Wilson Van Dusen, the psychologist turned mystic, and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in her work on death and dying, and the well-known researcher into near-death experience Raymond Moody in his book Life After Life. So we all like to know, but I wonder, how do you feel about being fully known, fully understood, with no mask or no pretense? I'd be keen for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. As always, you're welcome to read along with us or read ahead if you like and ask any questions, popping them in the comments for us to answer. Enjoy the journey.